Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight we're going to look at the amazing URI components builder, or the URI components builder, and on how we actually create the URI that we actually want to call. So this is a way to actually create a dynamic REST endpoint. The situation is this time that I have this cool REST controller right here. It's quite simple actually, but it's also quite complex. So I'm using Spring Boot. I've created this project by pressing File, New Project right here. Then I chose Spring Boot, and I chose the usual modules like web, etc., etc., etc. And Java is actually Java 25 this time. I enabled Lombok and the Spring Web. Let me just find it. Spring Web right there. And then I said create, and then I got this project right here. I have created my REST controller right here. The way to create a REST controller is quite easy in Spring Boot. If you don't know it, you just annotate with that REST controller, and then you give a basic request mapping. That means that everything that starts with /hello will map to this REST controller right here. If we also have something down here that matches the URI that is being called, or the endpoint. So here we have a get mapping. So that means that if we get a HTTP request of the type get, and with this structure right here, where we have a /person and then / some kind of name right here, and this is a variable. This means variable in the REST controller mapping right here, in the request mapping. So that means that then I can use a path variable right here. It's a path variable because it's part of the path. It's in REST. You should not have names as part of the path variable. Then you would have a post mapping instead. But this is just a stupid example to enable us to have some fun with the UI component builder in just a minute. So we have a path variable which is name, and that could be like Mike or something like that. And then we have a request parameter. That means a query parameter which says celebrity. That means that if you write a question mark something afterwards, that is called a query parameter. This is also what you usually would use to filter the output or the response that you get. So you can also use it for pagination. So let's say that you get a list back with like 100 names at a time. Then you could say that I want page 4 and I only want 100 at a time, and maybe you just want 50 at a time. Then you would also give that as a request parameter. That's usually how you would use that. Right now, tonight, we are going to use it as a celebrity. So we are returning this string right here. It says hello world. And then present this S right here. That this is just a normal string format that we have right here. And then we say name, you have dated this famous woman. And then again, the variable, and then the celebrity right here. So it should be something like hello world, Mike, you have dated this famous woman. And then it could be someone like Angela Merkel or something like that. Their name is just a made-up name right now. It's not any real person in real life. It's just a made-up name. So here we have the hello REST controller. Now, if we want to go to the test, if I did not have a test already, then I could press Alt Insert after placing the cursor right here. Then I could go and say create a new test, generate a new test. I'm not going to do that because I've cheated. I've already created a test for, so I'll just press Ctrl+Shift+T, and then I can choose which test to go to. There can be multiple tests. That's why I get this box right here where I can choose the test. I can also create a new test if I want to, but Ctrl+Shift+T is good to know when you are in any class in your source folder. Then you can create a test that matches it. So I've annotated with at Spring Boot test right here, and then I have said that I want to start up a web environment with a random port tonight, just for fun. That means that I do not know which port I'm using. That will just take a random port that is available, and then of course I need that port because I want to communicate with my REST controller in my test. And the way that I do that is annotating with add local server port. Then I get this. Then I get the mapping to this member variable right here. So then we have the test itself. Say hello, and I'm using the REST template right here. And I want to call my REST controller right now, and let me just comment some of this down here. And the right way to approach this, and the way to approach this, so your colleagues will actually be very happy. And the professional way to do this is actually to use the URI component builder. It is quite awesome, and what it does is it actually structures your your endpoints. So first of all, you would say whether it's HTTP or HTTPS. You could put this, you put it in the scheme right here. So it's split up, so you can actually give each section of the URL of the URI one bit at a time. And that means that then you can actually parameterize this. That all of this could actually be parameters in your application properties file. So then you could just provide this as variables one at a time right here. And here we have the port. We can see that it's already a variable right here. So we start with HTTP. Right now it runs on localhost. That is the server. So again, yeah, this could be a variable, so you can run against multiple environments. Then we say the main path right here. That is hello and then person. And then we can say that we want to have something called a path segment. And that is the name. The way to use variables in the components URI builder is to use two brackets like this. The content inside the bracket does not matter. I could write whatever I want to right here. Name, blah, blah, blah. It will be replaced later on with the variable value. So it does not matter. It does not need to match the REST controller. That's just what I'm trying to say here. So then we have a query parameter, and the way to do that is just use query param like this, and then we give a key that is celebrity, and then we give a value. And this value again is just it is something dynamically I want to provide later on, and that's the way I use the brackets, right, the curly brackets right here, and then I have a random variable in here. Of course, it should not be random. It should be something that is that documents the intent and what you're trying to do. And then we call something called build and expand. The expand part means that it will take the variables and then replace them with the real values that you have right here. So the first variable that we mentioned, the name blah blah, will be replaced by Mike Miller-Nielsen. Second part will be replaced by Angela Merkel. Again, it's just made up names. It's not anything in real life. Yeah, so, and then the way that we can create a URI from this is to call the toURI string. So it's actually quite simple. Of course, it takes up a bit more space when you use the URI components builder, but it gives you a structure. It gives you a much better structure. It's much easier to read this for one of your colleagues, and your colleagues knows exactly what you mean when you structure it out like this. Yeah, so now we have the URI, then we want to call it, but I'm using RestTemplate right here, and let me just outcomment. This is for later. So I have prepared this one right here. So we have the result right here. We call RestTemplate, then we say get for object, and then we give the URI, and then we say this. I expect the return body type to be a string, and then the body type will be returned right here as a result. I'll press Shift F10 because I've already run this test before, so I can just do that, and then it will be run again. And let us just say hello, Mike, hello world, Mike Miller-Nielsen. You have dated this famous woman, Angela Merkel, right here. And if you are in any doubt on how it actually works, because it did not, you can see we are using spaces and we're using local characters like the Danish Ø. It's actually because the RestTemplate is so smart, it will actually URL encode whatever we put in right here, so it will be correct. That is quite cool. And even if you don't use the URI components builder, then the RestTemplate will still URI encode it. That's what I want to show you right here. So if I comment this one, then you could actually be tempted to just put in the whole URI hard-coded. Then you would just maybe you probably have done this sometimes in your professional life. You have probably just put the string together manually, and then you have passed it on to the RestTemplate. And the reason why it is actually also okay is because RestTemplate is actually making sure that it is URL encoded. Yeah, so now we have this hard-coded string right here. Let us just see that it still works. So URI string hard-coded. Let us try that. Shift F10 again. Get for object again. Let's see what happens. And again, I should get the same string. Yes, I get a nice string out here. And it is still, it is still interpreted the correct way. That's quite cool. Another thing I just want to tell you is that even if you take this string right here that you hard-coded, where is the hard-coded? The hard-coded string, it is right there. Let us say that I started up my application locally on port 8080, and then I took this URI right here, and then I wrote, I know it's port 8080 when I start my application, and then I could just choose someone else right here. Maybe we should just choose someone else right here. It could be Susan Sarandon. Done. Again, this is just a made up name. And if, let's say I place this into a browser, and you can actually already see what actually happens, then it's actually also URL encoded. You can see you get this %20 right here instead of the spaces. Actually, the Danish characters, the local characters are not converted, and then we have the %20 right here again. So it is correctly URL encoded automatically by Chrome, by the Chrome browser. So there are a lot of situations where you don't have to think about it, URL encoding. And let me just comment this one out again, and I'll comment out the hardcoded, and then I want to show you another way to do this. If you don't like the URIComponentsBuilder and the URI components, then you can use, and you can actually just use the RestTemplate that also has some feature like that, because it is calling expand on whatever we put in right here. So if I create my URI template, so first of all, what you would do in this situation, you would create a URI template like I have right here, with all of your variables like port, person, and celebrity. And then you can call with exchange right here. So then you call RestTemplate exchange, and then you're creating a REST entity, and then you say, okay, it is using the get. It is a get request, and then you use the URI template, and then you place all of your variables right here, like blah 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 blah. And now it's with Angelina Jolie, and again, it's just made up names. It's not someone from real life. And then we run this again. Shift F10. Oh, let me just stop the. Let me just stop my server just to make sure that we're not. That we know what we're doing. So now we call it again, and let's see what actually happens now. And again, I've changed the name slightly just so we can see the difference here. And now the last thing that I ran, Shift F10 will run whatever you ran the last, and if you press Control Shift F10, then you should run the test that the cursor is within. So let us see what actually happens. Yes, now the test ran right here. Hello world, my game, you have dated this famous woman, Angelina Jolie. And again, it's not real people. Right here, it's just made up names, and none of this is real. That's actually it. I just want to show you different ways of actually handling the URI, and I actually like this approach right here, where it's put together piece by piece. Thank you very much for all of your comments, and thank you very much for watching. Have a great evening. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.